Hello fellow brawlers, I'm Kairos Time and it is time for the ultimate Brawl Stars tier list version 1. This is gonna be crazy. It's gonna blow your mind. Hope you enjoy. Okay guys, this seriously is going to be crazy. I cannot believe that we actually have this information. It's going to be insane. So here's what is going into this video, okay? We got 13 pro players that range from 9,000 trophies to 12,000 trophies. They went through and ranked 19 brawlers on 25 different maps, which is a total of 475 rankings per player, right? This wasn't an easy task. I wasn't asking these pros to just be like, hey, what do you think about some brawlers? No, it was like, okay, we're putting you to work for a couple of hours, fill this out and give me your feedback so we can come together and create the ultimate Brawl Stars tier list. And they were amazing, and I just wanted to thank them for taking the time to do that. I'll be shouting out their names later this video, so make sure you guys are aware of that and are ready to go and support them where that you can. Now, that's a total of 6,175 rankings, and it's crazy. So these were the rankings that I did. I had them rank all of the brawlers on every single map on a scale from 0 to 4. 0 being awful on the map, regardless of the comp or the team composition. 1 is like okay if you have a good team comp. 2 would be like they're good. They're good with the right team comp, like you can use them, right? 3 is they're good without the right team comp, like you could use them with randoms and be fine. And then 4 is excellent. It doesn't even matter what the team composition is. It's like the map was made for that brawler, okay? Now, some important notes. These team compositions can absolutely be paramount. Like, it can be more important. Like, sometimes you'll have a bunch of brawlers ranked at 2 or a 3, or like a 1 or a 2 or whatever, that work together to cover each other's weaknesses that are more important. So that is an important factor, but this is really useful for you if you do play with random players, or even if you just want to know the best maps to push specific brawlers. Also, I'm going to be updating this tier list as the meta changes, because they've put in a ton of effort in here, and I've built a massive system to be able to rank every single brawler, and we're not going to let that go to waste, guys. We're going to update it so you can get the best brawlers for every map forever. Maybe I shouldn't say forever. I don't know how long we'll be doing this, but for a long time, right? We're going to be breaking this up into 2 different videos, okay? Today we're going to be doing a brawler video where we talk about the brawlers, each of the 19 brawlers, and talk about each of the maps that they do well on or do poorly on. And then we're going to do a separate video that is going to be a map video where we go over every single map and rank all of the brawlers on that map. Both ways of giving the information is very useful for you. Okay, so like if you want to push a specific brawler, you go to the brawler video and you find out that brawler, and then you're like, okay, these are the maps that I want to play this brawler on. And then if you come up to a certain map and you're like, oh, I want to play this map, what brawlers are the best for this map? Then you go to that map video and do that. Today's gonna be the brawler video. Tomorrow I'm releasing the map video. It's gonna be awesome. Now, if you are over 9,000 trophies, please contact me. I consider myself to be good at the game, but I do not consider myself to be a pro, and so I'm looking out for people that are solid. Now, we're going to be going through these quickly, guys, because we got 19 brawlers, and I don't want to take, I mean, if I take 1 minute for every brawler, then that's 19 minutes. Like, you don't want to watch a 20-minute video, right? So we're going to shoot through these as fast as I possibly can. Starting off with Cele. Now, Cele, interestingly, she's total ranked at a C tier. Now, how these tiers work with the numbers is we took all the ranges of the numbers, I split up the range from the minimum to the maximum into 5 different sections, and automatically that spits out a tier. You don't really need to know all the math behind it, but what is important for you to recognize is the tier is a more relatable understanding of how good the brawler is. So she's a C tier, which means that she's okay overall. She struggles in Bounty, except for a couple of maps. Snake Prairie and Outlaw Camp, she does pretty well. In Smash and Grab, she's just not that great overall, with the exception of Hard Rock Mine, she's pretty decent at. Showdown, she's okay, but Feast and Famine, she's actually really great in Feast or Famine. Then we got Heist. She's awful in Heist, don't play her in Heist. Where she really shines is in Brawl Ball. Almost perfect scores across the board with her, and she's just S tier in all of those. And S tier meaning that she's excellent in Brawl Ball. You can jump into randoms with an S tier brawler and do pretty pretty well. Next we got Colt. Colt is a very overall well-balanced, good brawler, basically any situation. There's a few exceptions. Bounty, he's mediocre at. Struggles on Snake Prairie, but he's pretty good at some of those maps. Smash and Grab, not the greatest on Smash and Grab. Showdown, he's actually pretty decent on Showdown. On Skull Creek, he particularly shines and has that S tier right there. Heist is where you want to be playing Colt. Then we got Brawl Ball, and Brawl Ball, he used to be really good, but now he's going a little bit down simply because that range decreases his ability to kind of block or build up that super and be able to remove those blocks. Now we got Nita. Overall, she's a B tier, which means that she's good. You can use her and she's decent overall. But what's important to realize is that she's not good in Bounty. She's excellent in Smash and Grab. Smash and Grab is where you want to be playing Nita. She's okay in some maps for Showdown. Skull Creek and Stormy Plains, she got an A tier, which is decent. Heist, just don't even play Nita in Heist. Don't do it. Don't do it. Brawl Ball, there are better options. Up next, we have Dynamite, a very map-dependent brawler, meaning that he's good on some maps and terrible on other maps. You can even see in Bounty, he's not a very good brawler, except Groundhog Burrow, he's pretty decent. Then we also have Smash and Grab, where there are a couple of maps where he's pretty good, but struggles in the other ones. Showdown, he's excellent in Skull Creek and Stormy Plains, and pretty good in Death Valley, very good in Death Valley. Feast or Famine, just don't even play him. Heist is where he really seems to shine in most of those maps right there. And then Brawl Ball, he's not very good on Backyard Bowl or Pinhole Punt, but Triple Dribble, excellent, or very, very good brawler there. Up next, we got El Primo. Overall ranking of a B tier. Now, he is kind of map dependent. For Bounty, he struggles on a lot of those maps because they are very long range, but Snake Prairie and Outlaw Camp are an exception where he does pretty decent there. Smash and Grab, he's an overall okay brawler to play. There are a few maps that he is okay with. Definitely with a good team composition, then he'll be pretty good. Showdown, he really excels in Feast and Famine, and then he's pretty good at the other ones. Heist, not the best brawler for Heist, so just don't play him in Heist. And then Brawl Ball is where he really shines. Brawl Ball was like made for El Primo. The fact that he can pass and then land on the boxes and then come and then kick it in, like he's an excellent brawler for all Brawl Ball maps. Up next is Bull with an A tier overall ranking, very excellent or very good for him. Now Bounty, not a very good brawler for Bounty, with the exception of Snake Prairie, obviously, where he gets up really close. Smash and Grab is where he seems to do pretty well, but he's overall good in most game modes and most maps. Hard Rock Mine, Bone Box especially, he's really excellent at. In Showdown, once again, Feast or Famine is where he really seems to thrive. Probably one of the best brawlers for Feast or Famine, although we'll cover the best brawlers for every map in the other video. In Heist, he's a good brawler in Heist, with the exception of GG Corral, where he's excellent. And then we have Brawl Ball, where he's very good in Backyard Bowl and Pinhole Punt, but in Triple Dribble, he's an excellent brawler. Now it's time for Brock. Brock is the man, especially for Bounty. He has an overall ranking, or an overall tier of A, which means he's overall a very good brawler. Bounty is where he really seems to shine, though. The fact that, with the exception of Snake Prairie, he's an excellent brawler in every single map for Bounty. Is Smash and Grab? Not so much. Not a very good brawler for Smash and Grab, so you should probably be avoiding using him on Smash and Grab and focusing on some Bounty gameplay. For Showdown, don't play him in Showdown. Heist, he's actually pretty good in Heist. And then Brawl Ball, not a very good brawler for Brawl Ball. Barley's another very map-dependent type of brawler. Overall, he has a B tier ranking, which means that he's good overall. And then for Bounty, not a very good brawler for Bounty, with the exception of Groundhog Burrow, where he's able to throw his toxic chemicals over walls. Then we got Smash and Grab, where also not a very good brawler for Smash and Grab, with the exception of Mushroom Cave, where he's okay. And then Deep Hollows, he's an excellent brawler for Deep Hollows. Showdown, Feast or Famine, where he want to avoid playing Barley, but in the other maps, he's actually pretty good. Heist is where he really thrives, though. Heist is Barley's game. He's an S in every single category for all those maps. And then Brawl Ball, Triple Dribble, he's really excellent, but the other maps, you'd probably be better off playing other brawlers. Up next is Jessie. Jessie has an overall tier ranking of C, which means that she's not very good overall, but where she really shines is in Smash and Grab, where she has S's for every single map. She's an S tier brawler for all the Smash and Grab maps, which is just amazing. Bounty, don't play her. Showdown, don't play her. Heist, really don't play her. Brawl Ball, yeah, she's actually pretty okay at Brawl Ball, but if you want to push your Jessie, the best place to do it is in Smash and Grab. Next, we got Ricochet. Ricochet is very good overall, particularly in Bounty, where he's an S tier brawler in every single map, which is just crazy. He's also pretty good on some Smash and Grab maps, particularly Bone Box and Temple Catacombs. Showdown, you're probably better off pushing him elsewhere. Heist, he's okay. Brawl Ball, once again, he's okay. Bounty and Smash and Grab are really where you're going to be playing him. Now, Poco's a very interesting brawler. Bounty, he's awful out. Just don't play him in Bounty. Don't play him in Heist. He's really great in Smash and Grab. And then Showdown, he's okay. Brawl Ball, he's okay. Bo's another interesting one with a B tier ranking. Now, he overall, for Bounty, like he's good to excellent. Like it just depends on the map. Smash and Grab, overall, he's a very good brawler for Smash and Grab. Showdown, don't play him in Showdown, with the exception of Feast or Famine, where he can do pretty well. And then Heist and Brawl Ball, he's just not a very good option. Now let's talk about one of the best brawlers in the game right now, Daryl, an S tier brawler. With the exception of 2 maps, Shooting Star and Groundhog Burrow and Bounty, he is very good, which is an A ranking, to excellent, which is an S tier on every single other map. There's a reason why so many people are playing Daryl. He's just that good. On the flip side of things, we have a specialist here, Piper, with an F tier ranking. She is awful in Smash and Grab, Showdown, Heist, and Brawl Ball on almost all of the maps. But where she really shines is in Bounty. Not even all of the bounties. If you take a look at her and compare her to Brock, Brock overall better. And then he's kind of decent in the other ones. And then Piper, really poor in most categories, but pretty decent, or really good for a lot of those maps for Bounty. If I were to buff one brawler, I think it'd probably be Piper. Speaking of brawlers I'd want to buff, Pam, F tier ranking, not even as good as Piper in one category. She's good to very good in Smash and Grab, but she is terrible in all the other ones. The one thing that Piper at least has is she's an S tier in some of those maps, whereas Pam just seems to struggle. Her recent nerf just really seems to take her out. I think that she should also get some type of buff. Next, we've got a very controversial brawler. Some people think he needs a buff. Some people think he needs a nerf. Overall, he's B tier, right in the middle, okay? Don't play him on Heist, and don't play him too much on Smash and Grab either, but for Brawl Ball and Bounty, he actually has some modes where he's pretty decent. With the right team composition, Mortis can be one of the stronger brawlers in the game. Now let's talk about Tara, who is a B tier overall. She's got an overall C tier Bounty ranking. For Smash and Grab is where she really seems to shine. She's an S tier overall for Smash and Grab. And then Showdown, she's pretty good. Like, you can play her in Showdown. You do have to be a little bit careful because she's squishy enough that she can get taken out by those heavy tanks, but also she has to be close to other brawlers to really do a lot of damage. Now Heist, don't play her in Heist, she's not very good. Brawl Ball is another mode where she really seems to excel. So if I were to be pushing Tara Udi in Smash and Grab and Brawl Ball. Now let's hear it for Spike, our first legendary. He's got an A tier ranking. He's okay in some Bounty maps. He's excellent in Smash and Grab and Showdown. Awful at Heist, and excellent at Brawl Ball. He's just overall a very excellent brawler for those specific game modes, but he struggles in others. So it's kind of interesting to see Spike. I actually like the way that Spike is right now. Lastly, guys, we've got Crow, the highest overall ranking brawler. Take all of those rankings that he had and average them all up, and that puts him at a 3.0, which is the S tier, the cream of the crop Crow. Holy cow. Excellent in almost all modes for Bounty, very good in all modes for Smash and Grab, excellent in all maps for Showdown and Heist, and then like Brawl Ball is where he's like, well, he's okay, but you can push him in any other place except for Brawl Ball. Like he's just a beast. I think if any brawlers needed some type of a nerf, it would probably be Crow and Daryl. Crow, he's a tough one to balance because he's very squishy, so it's tough to say. I think that Daryl blatantly needs some type of a nerf to differentiate him from Bull, but that's Supercell's job and not mine. So if we were to take take every single brawler and take their overall rankings, this is how they would all rank up. We've got from the very bottom, we've got Pam, then in the F tier, Pam and Piper. In the C tier, we have Shelly, Jessie, Poco, and Dynamite. Some brawlers that are a little bit more map specific. Overall in the B tier, we've got Nita, Mortis, Bo, Terra, Barley, and El Primo. And they tend to be a little bit more map specific and just good overall. Then in the A tier, we have the brawlers that are generally very good, regardless of the map. We've got Brock, Colt, Ricochet, Spike, and Bull. And then finally the S tier, we've got Daryl and Crow. Now, some important things to notice is that overall rankings actually don't matter as much in Brawl Stars as the rankings for the individual maps, which is why you're going to want to watch my second video coming out tomorrow, where we will rank every single brawler on every single map, so you can take a look at the best and the worst brawlers for every map. Now guys, these are the players that filled out the form and brought this to you guys. We got Probert from Nova Esports. Make sure you go ahead and find him on Twitter and follow him on YouTube as well, because he's got some awesome content. We got Eric EX and Craner from Nova Esports as well. We got Prodigy from Orange Juice. Then we got Toma, Shaggy, Second Best, Doodle Bob, and Behemoth, all from Paradox, as well as Toxic, who also belongs to the SOAW esports band, along with Jeff and myself. Real Canadian from Unity, and then Royalty also from Unity, and also a little bit of Nova as well. I've included their social media links in the description below, so make sure you go ahead and give them a follow, because we really want to show them our appreciation for helping us create such an amazing brawler tier list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. For now, this is Kairos time ticking by, and we will see you in the arena.